everyone to episode 46 of the Empowerment Minutes podcast. This is Maurine Kwende, your podcast host, learning leader, researcher, speaker, coach, consultant, and author of the book, Dream Big and Live Your Dreams Boldly. I'm also the CEO and founder of EMK Learning Solutions LLC and Dream Big and Boldly Academy, which includes our future women leaders, empowering and equipping them to be the best future leaders in the world one day at a time. I'd like to thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Empowerment Minutes podcast. Thank you for being fans of the show. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you. So, if I was to ask you this question, have you ever been afraid in your life? What would your response be? This is an IQ question, actually. Certainly, 100%, your answer would be yes. Not just you, everybody, right? We all experience fear on a daily basis. But how come we act as if some do not experience fear and fear to the extent of not living our dreams? In today's podcast, we'll talk about the common fears that hold us back from living our dreams. You know, there's such a long list of fears, but I will just discuss the most common ones that hold us back from living our dreams. The number one fear, not in any order of preference, is the fear of inadequacy, the fear of not being enough. This fear actually comes from many places, especially from our childhood. Many times as parents, we unconsciously become too critical of our children, which leaves them with an indelible mark, the mark of fear of not being enough. Sometimes the fear comes from teachers who telling their children, oh, you're not having good grades. Maybe they didn't pass their exams. Maybe they didn't graduate from high school. Maybe they're not living the career they ever wanted. Maybe they just feel they're not good enough. They just feel inadequate. They don't have the education. They don't have a degree. They don't have the qualifications that they need. So many reasons that people have that they make them feel that they're inadequate. They're feeling of not enough. This is really common as well among women, right? Because we're put in a box by society, right? When we're with our peers, the men, we think, okay, men, they earn more, they're smarter, and all whatnot. And then so women now suddenly feel, oh my gosh, I'm not enough. I cannot be what I want to be. And that's why we're having these conversations about the glass ceiling and all of that. So the fear of not being enough is really, 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 really something that can hold us back. It affects your confidence. Everything, it can really start going down because of this fear, this particular fear of not being enough. And it's tied to other types of fear that we're going to talk about, like the next one, which is the fear of being judged. This also is very common. I recall being very nervous and afraid of public speaking when I was a little girl. And this idea actually was not just being afraid of not being able to speak, but I was just really afraid of being judged. Being judged like, oh my God, she's not good at what she's doing. Being judged as not measuring up to the standards that I've been held up to. Being judged for whatever reason. So many people, even when they're called to positions of leadership, they're like, oh no, I don't want to take that position because they're afraid of being judged. Imagine even someone who becomes a president of the country and is thinking, oh my gosh, people are going to judge me because of this and that. That can really, really hold us back, right? And this is really also linked to the fear of not being enough. They'll judge me for not being enough. So, I'm just not going to do it. How about the fear of failure? That's another big one, right? What if I fail? Many times we're afraid to apply for a new position or even, get into a new business venture or even get out of a toxic situation. Some people are stuck in, bad relationships, bad marriages, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to fail. The fear of failing so many times. What if you fail? That's a question you want to ask yourself. What if you fail? Well, if you fail, you would learn from it and fail forward. The best way actually to learn from our mistakes is to fail. So failure actually help us get closer to our dreams. So please stop being afraid of failure. Failure is not a bad thing. The next fear I want to talk about is the fear of rejection. Oh my gosh. A client of mine was so afraid of being rejected from job interviews that she wouldn't even read the emails from the interviewer, right? Afraid of the words, "We found a candidate more suitable for this position." You know, she was so afraid to the extent that she missed a job opportunity as a result because she couldn't even open the email thinking, oh my God, they're just going to tell me, I'm not qualified. And then they had to find other ways of getting through to her. And she said, oh, I saw the email, I didn't open it. Imagine that, if this happened so many times in her life, how it would affect her to the extent of not even going to where she wants to go. The last time I checked, rejection didn't kill anyone physically, did it? It did not. It hurts for sure. Definitely it does. But what can you learn from? I choose actually to see negative situations like this as opportunities to make a difference. And I really challenge you to do the same. So every time you get rejected, think about it like, okay, this is an opportunity. What can I glean from this? How can I move forward, right? Looking at this as, okay, I've not been put down, but this is a chance for me to show that I can do better. Show that maybe I can consider other options. This next one will surprise you, but it's real. It's a fear of success. Believe it or not, some people have the fear of success. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be making all this money. I'm going to be hanging out with these people. Thinking this might alienate them from their peers and the circle, right? It's like becoming a celebrity. So how do I handle all this new fame? That's another thing. People are so afraid of success. Another one that's common is the fear of losing control. Power can be something. Think about someone who has been a leader for so long and then they don't want to even relinquish the power because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm losing control, right? Losing control over the situation that I thought I had control over. Some people, I would say parents, feel this way when their children no longer need them. Maybe they're moving out of their house. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm losing control over my children now. They're becoming grown-ups. The fear of losing control really can hinder us from living our dreams. Maybe when you're in new territory and that you're not familiar with, and you now start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be losing control. These fears that I've mentioned, they are the ones that are really, really, really common and have, in my experience, and the people that I've worked with, people who've experienced this, they keep allowing this fear to get in the way of them being successful, get in the way of them pursuing their dreams. So how do you deal with this fear? The truth is, there is no such thing as being fearless. Fear is a normal reaction when we think of doing something we haven't done before. I talk about this in the 3rd chapter of my book, Dream Big and Live Your Dreams Boldly. In case you don't have this book, you can check it out on Amazon. Fear is a normal reaction, really. We have to have a shift of mindset to embrace fear and find the courage to persist amid the fear and still pursue the dream. And once you get afraid, you say to yourself, I'm going to do it anyway, and still do it afraid. Another thing to do is identify the fear and write it down. Write a list of your fears. Then number 3, ask yourself, what if you were not afraid? What would you do about this? And write it down. Then the next activity I'm not going to encourage you to do is write about what your best possible future self looks like today. Write it in the present tense. So your best possible future self today would present to you as, I am a confident person. I'm not letting fear to hold me back. So once you take those steps and you're able to visualize them, and you keep repeating it to yourself, maybe you want to, set times during the day, in the morning, in the evening, and just repeat to yourself words of affirmation, saying that, you're not letting fear to get hold of you, right? Fear is not going to stop me, right? Words of affirmation. Have a good friend, an accountability partner who can help you follow through, right? To help you take action. You can also work with a coach to help you if you're not able to do it by yourself. I help many clients overcome fear, and now I can proudly say that I see them living their dreams. And I will be happy to help you out, or maybe if you want to speak to another coach. I believe that you're listening to this podcast for a reason. It's time for you to take action now. Don't let fear hold you back from living your dreams. Not anymore. So that's it for this week's podcast. Go break a leg. Whenever you see fear standing in the way of you living your dreams, take action, because the more action you take, that's the weaker fear is going to have over you. So I'm rooting for you. Please, please let me know what's happening with you. Have you applied these steps? Have they helped you? Would you like me to help you some more? Keep me posted. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Thank you again. Be safe, be well, and I hope to see you on the next one.